Everyone, I just wanted to jump in and do a quick Q&A for y'all real quick just to explain kind of what we're looking at for tomorrow. I know we kind of started off April with a bang, ended April with a bang, and now we're back once again with severe weather. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in real quick. Excuse me, my voice is allergies are killing me, so if I pause for a little bit for a drink of water. Don't mind me at all. But throw in your, I know a couple of y'all have already asked some questions, but go ahead and throw it in the chat and I can get to them if I haven't already covered them. But let me go ahead and jump in real quick because there's a lot to show you because I kind of want to explain to y'all what we're looking at and why it's like a boom or bust kind of thing. So I kind of want to show you all what the National Weather Service is looking at and what I see, what they see, similar. But let's go ahead and talk about this. I know this was around noon when they did this slideshow. They will update this probably later tonight. The midnight shift will probably most likely do it. And once that happens, I will go ahead and put it on all social media accounts. But right now, we are, if you can see, let's see if you can see, we kind of are in a little. We do have a level 4 out of 5 right now, but that is more toward our north. But a very smudging bit of Sumner is in 4, and then the rest of us are in 3. Once again, don't really be like, oh, I'm in a 3, so that's not going to be a 4. The lines really don't matter. All modes of severe weather are active for this, and I'll go in after this slideshow and show y'all what threats, what percentage, and everything else. But what to expect, we have one big intense line of storms that's going to come. But that right now, the models that I saw, I haven't looked at the newest ones yet, which are just coming out now. But the ones I saw earlier, it looks like kind of like a broken line, like in the morning and then possible in the afternoon. And then once again, we are looking like a night midnight kind of line coming through. But as the National Weather Service says, their biggest concern right now is this circle, which does not include us. But once again, that will probably change closer to time. And of course, then impacts and timing. Of course, right now we are looking at the main threat is damaging winds, which we all know what that can do after that 90 plus mile wind event that happened. Gosh, has it been a month already since that? But how much damage that caused, which was kind of equaled up to a EF0, EF1 tornado damage. So we all know how that works. So once again, they cannot rule out a quick tornado spin up, especially with the embedded lines, which I'll show y'all a little bit once we get to the program, and I'll show y'all kind of like time hour by hour what we're going to be looking at. And of course, this is some models show that we can have something between 5 and 8. I know tomorrow is a big day for seniors because I do know Gallatin, Station Camp, and Hendersonville are all doing graduation tomorrow, and I wonder, are those at 7 o'clock? Last time I checked, I think they're around 7 o'clock. And of course, looking at that time period. So we'll see what the latest ones. I'll be looking at it for the first time while we're doing it with y'all. So, but the main line event, this right here is a 7, the 1. The latest models are actually kind of been showing it more toward 10 p.m. midnight. So I'm going to go over here. I know I keep having this little slide because this kind of shows you what to expect with 4 and 3, which not much difference because there's still high confidence that storms will be having damaging winds, severe hail, and or tornadoes. Because it's going to be at night, once again, I want to show you all the checklist of what to do. If y'all have y'all's weather radio, make sure they're ready before you go to bed. Make sure the do not disturbs turn off, which I believe the next slide shows you for iPhone and Android what to do. Make sure your plans are ready just in case. The typical, I know we've all been through this several times. So just I like to have this on here just for those that don't really know, or just a kind of fresh reminder. And once again, what's the difference between a watch and a warning? I really should have done the one that's like taco ingredients for a taco for a watch, and then the actual taco is a warning. But a watch is basically be prepared, be ready. The conditions in the environment are ready. And so basically be prepared when a watch. And a watch actually kind of lasts for several hours. As you notice, I believe it was a week or so ago when we had a severe thunderstorm watch that it was like for 4 to 5 hours. Of course, most time watches are do expire earlier than the time period it's until. A warning means takes action. It means it's happening. Either the severe thunderstorm is happening or about to happen in your area. A tornado warning is basically where someone someone like a T-spotter or shows that there's a funnel cloud or a wall cloud forming, or radar indicates that there's low level rotation. A couple people have always asked what apps to download. I always like Stormwatch, which alerts you when a warning has been issued. I know Sumner does not have any tornado sirens. I know Madison and Goatsville do. I can hear them barely, but do not rely on them to wake you up because they are for people outside. So, also, do any of the news stations, they always have apps. I think it's four that has it where they'll call you. And there's also a alert that is just for Sumner that texts and call you when there's warnings or roads closed. I need to find out what the phone number is, and you just text them and sign up, or the website. I'll put that on social accounts when I remember to do it. Once again, this is how you do your emergency. This right here is where your phone goes off. It will wake you up for the iPhone. Um, I'll, of course, will put this on all the social media thing again. And here is for the Android. So I really don't know much about the Android because I have an iPhone. So I actually put the wrong one of this up. Thank goodness for the person that said that was the wrong one. So I can get the right one for you all. And this will only work if you do take your phone off of do not disturb. I know most people do put their phone on do not disturb during the night. These are one of these times where I mean, it is going to probably be out by 1 or 2 a.m. But once again, I know most people go to bed about 9 or 10. Me, if I could, I would go to bed at 8, but I'm a night owl, so. Once again, I know some of y'all, most of y'all probably already actually know the T-Spotter program. Here's all of us with our social media accounts. And I know I keep saying follow like Robertson and of course the Nashville guys, because mostly what they get comes into Sumner. So it's good to jump ahead. And of course I'll put this on as well. And then here's a few things. I am 100% community funded by you all. So once again, here's that. And I'm actually going to close out of this and show you all real quick our threats. And I'm actually going to go to this is a actual new app called Weatherwise that will show, it's very much like Radar Vega. I go back and forth. So let's go. I love this because I can zoom in and it shows exactly where I want. So right here, what is cool about this actually is a free app unless you put it on your like laptop, then you have to pay for it, but it is a free app with so much stuff on it. And right now I have the outlooks on for day 2 and we're looking at wind threats. So cool thing is when you can click, you can see there's a 10% of significant wind risk, which is 70 plus mile per hour wind gusts. And then we're under 30. Whereas this little thing right above Portland has a 45. So I put in about 30 to 45 when I did it earlier. So once again, this is the main threat is damaging winds, which once again we found out before could be equal to a small tornado. In the Hatchet area, I know it looks kind of like confetti or whatever. That's the where it's significant wind risk. But let's go up to tornado because I know that's the big question is there going to be a tornado? We can't rule it out, but right now all of Sumner is under a 10% regular risk. But also we're in the Hatchet, which means a strong tornado is possible. I'll show y'all when we go back to Radar Omega, like what do we look at for all this. And then real quick, I'm going to show y'all hail. So the hail percentage is at 30%, but very small bit of us has the Hatchet, which means it's like 2 inches size hail and above. So let me go through and show y'all what the timing real quick. And then I'm going to go through all this and then I'm going to answer all the questions because I know a lot of y'all were asking timing. So let me go real quick. I'm going to see if the triple R0, how much we can go with that. But I know we can't go fully with that, but I'll go to the 18Z to show y'all on that as well. But once this updates fully, then I'll put it on all the social media. So once again, this is 8 o'clock. So right now, let's see how far we can. Because I know there was a chance of storms in the morning that I showed you, and it was a huge blob. Actually, let's go to the 18Z real quick, and I can show y'all the difference real quick. Because these weather models are going constantly. They're updating hourly. So let me see if I can show y'all what I was looking at. See how much difference? This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and 7 a.m. So the 18Z was showing a huge big line coming in right at rush hour. So when we look at the 00Z, it wasn't. I'm going too fast for it. But here we go, back to the 00. See, this is 5. This is the 6 a.m. now. So you can see how much it's kind of changed. So right now it's looking more staying up north. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can just focus on Sumner. So it is showing some around, this is 8 a.m. tomorrow. I do expect us to have some storms, but look how much different the 18Z to this one is. So that's what it's ever changing. But we do know we are going to have storms. So this is not, because it showed earlier at the 18Z some storms coming in at 10 a.m. too. So I don't know if this is gonna, no, this is only going to 12 p.m. So I'm gonna drop down to 23Z and show y'all, because this only shows about 18. But this one right here shows, once again, look at the 7 and 8. It looks like it's moving more up. The models are trying to move the storms more north of us. So let's see. There's 11. And it's only going to go to 12. So I'm going to go to 18Z, but take it with a grain of salt because of how much it's changed. But I want to show y'all the big line that's coming tomorrow night, because I know a lot of people are worried about graduations. See how it had another one about 10 a.m. and then we do. It was supposed to have some, so that's 7 right there. During 7 and 8, but then here is the main line that we're really looking for to. So it looks like right now 18Z is showing about midnight. So I will definitely look at the 00. It will probably be another 20 minutes. And I don't think y'all want to hear me for 20 minutes talking until it loads. But actually, let me see if it's floating on another website too. But so it does look like it's going to be rocking and rolling until I'm going to say 1:30 or 2. But once again, how much difference this one is to 00Z. The National Weather Service did say that they will have a timing graphic probably very late tonight or very early tomorrow morning. And of course, I'll put that on because right now timing is kind of tricky because you see the difference between the weather models that they look at. So I'm going to go real quick and do some questions. The ones I don't think. Let's see, anything. Right? No, we are not going to be worried about anything overnight. We might have some rumbles. I'll show you all the live radar right now. Because we're actually still under a slight risk, but let's see. Oh, it does not help that I'm on velocity. See, earlier there was severe thunderstorm warnings all the way over here in Arkansas in the Memphis area. But once we look at the Paducah radar, there's nothing. So the models weren't really, they were showing a little bit, but not much at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a rumble of thunder, but nothing. I'm more concerned with what's going to be happening tomorrow. But for White House, for Sumner, Robertson at risk, or as I know I showed earlier, everyone in Middle Tennessee right now is at risk for all severe modes, but the National Weather Service has focused more on damaging winds and large hail. But they once again we can't rule out a tornado or a quick spin up. Tornadoes are, I was going to say, tornadoes are not a big worry. It's still there. We won't completely say zero. I really tried not to say zero until the severe threat is past us because as soon as you say, oh, it's zero, and something happens and people let their guard down, yeah, that's not good. But, oh no, Winter, sorry, 18Z and 23Z, it's Lulu time, which is kind of like military time. And there's so many different times you have to know when you're in the meteorology. It's, you got Zulu time, you got Central Mountain, it's military time, it's all. I get confused. I have a desk right now in my apartment where I have all these laptops and monitors. I have a chart like right in front of me that shows that basically has 18Z is this time and stuff like that because I know I get mixed up with that too. But let's see, timing for graduations. I believe graduations are at 7. So I really want that 00Z to be finished so I can really see how if it's sped up. But I do want to know if you are going to any graduations or if it's your graduations. Congrats, by the way, of graduating high school. But I would go ahead and take an umbrella or a rain jacket just in case. I'd rather y'all be safe than sorry. My concern level, let me show y'all kind of what. Let's see if it will. Okay, I'm going to move otherwise. Kind of what. Okay, The National Weather Service, when they release a weather balloon, they get all these details, which is a sounding. And I know it probably looks like Greek to a lot of you. Sometimes it looks like Greek to me too. But I kind of want to show you all real quick what they look at. So over here is where the CAPE is, which is the convection available potential energy. And that is basically energy that is available for the storms. If I'm going to zoom in, here we go. See that it's red and that surface base right here, 3,481. That means storms have a ton of fuel to grow explosively if they can get going. That's the high thing, is if they get going. And then what this right now, this timing right here is forecast with the HRRR. And I believe this is at 21Z. And so this will be during the afternoon hours. So once again, the atmosphere is prime. Another thing that we look at is the lift index, which you can see right here, which is -10, which is extremely negative. And you know what that means? That means it's a very unstable atmosphere. So if the storms form, they could be intense, which is where, when you look at that, that's why damaging winds, I believe, is very high up. And then we also look at the lapse rate, which is here, which is 8, which means the air is cooling so quickly with height, making it easier for storms to develop strong updrafts. And then we also look at, which is a mid-level dry air, which creates the steep level rates, which could enhance storm strength and increase the risk of large hail, which is why we see a 30% with large hail threat. And then another thing is we look at is precipitation water, which is 1.43, which means there's plenty of moisture in the air, which will support heavy rainfall potential, which means we could see flash flood warnings or flood advisories issued. And then another thing that we kind of want to look at is the helicity, which I believe is where, which actually believe is a 228. I wrote it down. Let me see if I can find it on here to show y'all. But I wrote down it was 228, which means for that profile means that there is rotation. That could be rotation in the lower levels, which means there is a potential for tornado if the storms get going. So let me go real quick. I'm going to zoom out here. This is a website that I go to that has like all these models that, this is just a few models that the National Weather Service looks at. So I'm going to go real quick and see how far in the HRRR model that it has for 00. So it's up to 8 p.m. already. So I'm going to do a forecast loop real quick for you all. Let's see. See, that right there is that 7 a.m., 8 a.m. range. And it's staying north. And the little kind of hatched things that y'all see, that's where very strong rotation could be. So right now it's not showing much until later. And of course, right there, that's the 8, around the 8 o'clock. So it looks like the timing is still going to be around midnight. So I'm going to go back real quick and see if it's updated on here so I can show y'all exactly the timing. But I'm not seeing any other questions before. I think I pretty much answered all of them. Let's see how far we can get into this. So there's the 6, the 7. Oh, we can only get to 9. And that, so this is the 10 o'clock, what it looks like. So it looks like it's going to be getting into the West Tennessee of the West Middle Tennessee part about 10. So it looks like timing is still going to be around midnight. But I'm looking at this little blue dot right there, which means hail could be really intense. So that right now is all I am going to be showing you all, because right now this is coming out, so they'll be making adjustments to timing and all, and then the Storm Prediction Center will be sending out updates. Instead of it being day 2 outlook, it'll be day 1, and that normally comes out, I want to say about 1 a.m. in the morning. So if I'm up, I will put it on social media. If not, it'll be the first thing I do in the morning, because I do want to see what they say. And another thing you could do on this weatherwise thing is when you click, like you could get the forecast discussion, which is basically all this is what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. They're saying the moderate risk. They have like a little summary, and then it goes into very much details what. So it's pretty cool that weatherwise you can look at it and basically read what the Storm Prediction Center says. So I know it's a lot of words, but all right. Anything timing midnight? Well, we could have multiple rounds. I know timing. I know National Weather Service said timing was kind of tricky, but the main line that we're looking at will be around midnight to 1 a.m. See if. Oh, no. See if it keeps updating real quick. If I can get to 11 or 12 before I log off. We could do it. No, the NAM's still at 18Z, so. Okay, let's see what I can get to. 8. See, this is not showing anything until I'm going to zoom in because y'all can't really see Sumner, but so y'all can still see a little bit. Not that close. There we go. So this shows some and some are about 8 a.m. and then it just doesn't show much. Under this gray right here is sprinkles of that, and that's 2 p.m. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. There's 11. There's midnight right there. So we do get to 11 and midnight. Okay, so the 11 does show it coming knocking on our door at 11 tomorrow night. And then midnight, the strong is past us, but it's still raining. So most likely it'll be out of here by 1. But once again, this timing will go back and forth. But it actually has kind of stayed. The 18Z was showing 11 to 12 too. So yes, the main threats are damaging wind and hail, but we can't rule out a tornado. Yep, which I feel like is the common theme around here is damaging winds and large hail, which I'd rather take that than a tornado any day. I actually would take none of it, but so, and it actually kind of looks broken up instead of like a full line. It's like a northern part storm and then a southern. So that's why I really think it's going to be more of a wind threat. And jeez, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 1.5 inch size hail with this too. And before I log off, I kind of want to show y'all another thing that we look at too. Let's look at the most unstable cape, because I know at that see, that sounding showed it to be over 3,000. See, this is at 10 p.m. and it's 2,000. The higher the number on that, the worse. So, as you can see, the it's most unstable here with the pinks, and that, of course, that's 4 p.m. But the pinks and reds don't make their way toward us. So the storms will lose a little bit of the strength, but not completely. Um, for the velocity, that's actually for when it's live. That's the only way we can really do the velocity. I really wish there's a way we can show the velocity further in advance so you can see like where. But kind of another different wing or a way to show y'all where the rotation could be is we actually, well, that's the most unstable. I didn't do surface base, but let's do the tornado perimeter because that kind of shows. See, that's so right here is where you can see where the most. I know it's showing like a lot, and I don't like how it goes to 3 and it stays around 3. I believe this actually goes to a, if I'm not mistaken, this goes up to like 0 to 10. So it stays around 3, but still, that basically shows you there is a lot of updraft. But let me see if I can. I'm gonna do a quick here's the updraft, the max of it though. So this is another way where you can kind of show the velocities. But see, early in the morning there, it looks like the most would be up here in the 200s, and then I know it'll slowly increase throughout. Here's the 11. It really shows. Good grief! It looks like right in the middle is not going to get much. But that's because, once again, we showed there was a northern storm and a southern storm. So most of the twist in the atmosphere is going to be up here. The updraft doesn't show, it shows a little bit and it does cover Sumner. But that's why, once again, I do believe that our main threat is going to be damaging winds. So, all right. There's no other questions. I am going to log off, and once again, I will update as soon as we do have updates, which the updates, I believe the National Weather Service, I wouldn't be surprised actually if they have a special briefing tomorrow. Because they normally do a briefing every Monday, but they had one today because the storm's coming tomorrow. I would not be surprised if they have one sometime tomorrow, maybe in the morning or 1. And of course, I will update you all what they say. So, once again, thank you for logging in. I hope I've kind of helped y'all understand what they look for, what we're kind of expect. So, if I were you, I would just carry a umbrella if you're going to be out and about tomorrow. I know the models were just showing. Let me go back real quick. We're just showing it. Nothing really. I I still think we could get some around rush hour, 8 o'clock. So if you're going to be out, I would just go ahead and have an umbrella or rain jacket. I always have an umbrella or rain jacket in my car with me if I'm going to be out and about. So I'd rather be safe than sorry on that. But once again, the main threat will be about 11 p.m. Noon. Oh my goodness. Midnight. I'm going to have to get some sleep before all this because we're about to go in a rainy pattern too. Because after this, we're going to be probably going to have rain most of all next week. And from what I remember at the briefing that was earlier, we might have another chance of severe weather sometime next week. I want to say he said Tuesday or Wednesday, but let's just get through this one first, like we always do, and then we can focus on that one. But so I'm gonna log off. Will high risk be on the table? Actually, let me. I want to see. I can show y'all real quick. Here we go. Mm, looking at how big the monitor is, I think what really, I wouldn't say it would be off the table, but if there is a high risk, I would think it'd be around here and around this area. And then if that's the case, they'll drop the monitor down to probably cover half. But with some of the profiling of the threat, with the tornado threat being so on the low end, I wouldn't put it past them to not do a high risk. I'm actually kind of surprised they did the moderate risk, but let me see if what's the full. So it's only a 10% for tornado for even the strongest area, but as we can see, the wind threat. I would not be surprised if this wind right here would be dropped down a little bit more. I think that's why they made the hatchet area a little bit bigger. And then the hail threat, I would not be surprised if the hail threat kind of moves down too. But we shall see at, I believe, 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So, all right. I'm going to head off. I'm going to try and go to bed a little bit early because I know I'll probably be up if we get those storms early in the morning. And I'm going to see real quick. I can see if we have the radar. Oh, no, there's the velocities, but that's, I think someone was asking about the velocities if I can show them now, but that's all, you really only see this kind of velocity with live radar, and there's not really much to see besides a big blur. It doesn't really look like much. But, all right, well, hope you all have a good rest of your night. Sleep tight because tomorrow is going to be a little bumpy. We'll get through it like we always do. I might do a Q&A tomorrow before everything gets started, but really see. I know it kind of freaked people out saying, "Hey, I'm going to do a Q&A." They're like, "Oh, it's going to be really bad." No, I think I really like doing this Q&A for you all because I know how much storm anxiety hits people in Sumner, and I want y'all to understand what's going on. Kind of, I'm telling you what the National Weather Service says and what I think, and also y'all are prepared because that eases off the storm anxiety. So, all right. Hope you all have a good rest of y'all's night. I know I keep saying that and then I talk nonstop, but I will talk to y'all tomorrow because I know I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a live tomorrow because I'm about 80% sure we'll have a severe thunderstorm warning just because of the winds, damaging winds and all. So I will